Making the move to DC, Maryland, or Northern Virginia can be daunting, especially if you've never been here before. So today, we want to give you the real facts on what's going on in the DMV. Hi, this is Rick Hartunian, real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. We're going to break it all down for you right now. So the first topic we want to talk about is the lingo. Those who reference the district or the city are talking about all of the areas in Washington, D.C., all the way up to the border limits that straddle Virginia and Maryland. Those who talk about the DMV are talking about DC, also Northern Virginia and Maryland. Not all of Maryland or Virginia is considered part of the DMV though. Only Northern Virginia and Montgomery County and Prince George's County in Maryland as well. There's some other surrounding areas, but those are probably what we're going to be talking about the most. If it sounds confusing, that's because it is. But after you're here for a few years, you'll know this place like the back of your hand. The next thing we're going to talk about on our list is the culture and feel of the DMV. Though the DC metro area is sprawling, the city's population isn't as big as many people would think. There's a ton of areas and places around here, but it feels kind of small. A lot of people feel like they run into people they know all the time. You know, as a result, people here, they tend to be friendly, like you'd expect from a smaller, more southern town, but they also have that big, ambitious city dweller type of drive as well. So it's this very cool mix, especially because Maryland, DC, and Virginia, we're kind of right in the middle here between the northern states and the southern. No one really knows what to call us. It's a very cool mix of people. It's an extremely diverse group of people here that live throughout Northern Virginia, DC, and Maryland. And as we'll talk about later, you'll see that there are endless options of food and entertainment and stuff because of this. The next topic to tell you about is the weather. It's super hard to get dressed in the morning. We get all 4 seasons, which I'll talk about, but we actually can get all 4 seasons in a day sometimes, it feels like. You know, the solution to this? Layers. I bring my entire wardrobe with me, I feel like, more often than not. If there's snow in the forecast here, beware, everyone here freaks out. Water, food, batteries, anything that they feel they need because they think they're gonna be bunkered down for days at a time. The plowing situation here in the DMV is not perfect. It could only snow maybe a few inches, but it feels like the roads haven't been plowed for a little longer, especially if you're moving here from the north. You're gonna be confused as to why. We don't get a ton of snow. Schools can be shut down, and same thing, it'd be tough getting into work as well. But with that said, having all 4 seasons here in the DMV is absolutely wonderful. It does get pretty darn hot and humid in the summer, and it can be, you know, frigid and very cold in the winter with the snow like I had mentioned, but we also have a longer fall than most states here in the country. You get to see the trees changing and the leaves turning for longer than most areas, which is absolutely gorgeous. We do get a lot of rain in the spring too. I think the average precipitation is around 30 inches a year. We get about 60. You truly see it all here with weather in the DMV, which is very cool. Okay, next on our list of things you must know about before moving to the DMV is location, location, location. You hear this term no matter what, whenever you're talking about real estate, but around here, depending on the type of vibe you want, where you live is extremely important. From suburban family communities with parks and playgrounds, land, trees, all the way to the city life where you're living in a high-rise condo and you can walk to anywhere or just take a quick metro ride and everything in between. There's all different styles of living around here. There's tons of new construction. There's older communities. We're going to be diving into all this in future videos with walkthrough tours and deeper explanations of all the towns and suburbs in the greater DC area as well. All right, next item on the list that we want to talk about is schools. There's areas of the DMV with some of the highest rated public schools in the entire country. And if your area, wherever you choose, doesn't have the best public school systems, there are numerous highly rated private options as well, from preschool age all the way up through high school. We recommend researching this on your own a bit. We can always dive deeper, but for you, it's best to probably, jump onto websites like niche or niche.com. I never know how to pronounce that. Greatschools.org. I would, dive into parent reviews of the school systems. When you come here, as you're driving around, see if you can reach out and get in touch with the PTA president and simply just drive around the neighborhoods to get a feel around the school systems here. Depending on what your situation is, sometimes that's really the most important factor when deciding where to live. So you're going to want to do your research as much as possible. Next topic on our list of things we want to talk about, unfortunately, is traffic. The average commute time here, I'd say, is around 30 to 45 minutes, pretty much no matter what. Whether you're driving or taking public transportation, you need a buffer for getting to your next appointment or your next meetup. You're either actually gonna be about 30 minutes early because you put a big buffer for traffic to expect it, or you're gonna be about 30 minutes late to every appointment because no matter how big the buffer was, there's nothing that you can do about it. Traffic is not the best around here. It's not as bad as some people think in certain areas, but it's certainly something that you're gonna have to overcome and consider when moving to the DMV. With that said, there are a ton of commuter options depending on where you live as well. This includes the Metro buses, city buses, the VRE, which is the Virginia Railway Express. You've got Easy Pass, and depending on where, you can simply walk to many places, of course, in the city, but the surrounding suburbs as well. There's a lot of high walkability scores here in the DMV. The next topic we want to talk about is activities, entertainment, and food. Dining, comedy shows, live music, festivals, concerts, nightclubs, sports games, movies, bowling, playgrounds, community swimming pools, tennis courts, workout facilities, the list goes on and on. Let's not forget to mention some of the best private and public golf here as well. The DMV truly does have it all. As far as the restaurant scene goes, because of the extremely diverse group of people we have here throughout Northern Virginia, DC, and Maryland, the different cuisines are from all over the world that you can experience, with some of the highest rated restaurants here as well. The best pizza places, Ethiopian food, modern Indian, Thai food, Balkan food, Vietnamese and Japanese places. All of this and more can be found in the greater DC area. From the classiest restaurants all the way down to hundreds of local food trucks that wander the area. There's some awesome hole-in-the-wall type restaurants too, and like I just mentioned, we'll be going over these in future videos as well. Maybe rate some different styles of foods and burgers and pizza and stuff like that, just so you guys can get a really good understanding of the food that's here and what you can expect, because it's such an important part of the culture here throughout the DMV. It would truly probably take years to experience all that Metro DC area has to offer you. For those of you guys that live here, what are some of your favorite spots, so that way we can let everyone know as they're coming in, these are the places that they should try. Okay, the next topic we want to talk about is the travel. Because of its location here on the East Coast, from the DMV you have quick routes to major US cities all along the eastern seaboard. Plus, with major cities comes cheaper and more direct airline tickets to other places around the country and around the entire world. You also have easy travel and proximity to beaches, mountains, and other major cities. In just a couple of hours, we can be in the Appalachian Mountains, down to the Maryland's Eastern Shore, Virginia Beach. You have Annapolis and the Delaware beaches. You also have the Jersey Shore and its beaches, and much, much more. Give us a 4-hour drive and we can be in New York City. If you've ever lived or been stationed in a state where it takes up to a half a day to leave your area or even just get out of the state's borders, this is gonna be a really cool experience for you guys, just because everything's so close. It almost feels like you're in Europe with its proximity to so many different terrains and cities in just a few hours drive. It's a lot of fun. And speaking of travel, there are lots of military families here, PCSing from other states around the country and from around the world. Did you know that there are over 22 military installations between Northern Virginia, DC, and Maryland? So chances are that even if you're not coming here this year, you will be here in the region at least one time throughout your military career. And we're more than happy to have you. And our next topic, how the DMV area is a major sports scene. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. All 4 of the major sports teams have clubs that are based out of DC, with them being the Commanders, the Nationals, the Wizards, and the Capitals. And even if you're not a fan of the local teams, Baltimore, New York, and Philly are all nearby, and they all have competing major sports clubs as well. So you get a good mix of teams that people root for living here in the DMV. Because we have such a diverse group, like I've mentioned a few times now, there's also different bars and restaurants nearby that support other teams from around the country. So you get this awesome mix of sports clubs, which just creates a better competing atmosphere. So there you have it, some things about the DMV that you may not have known about. Like and subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.